The British Health Secretary says that football players need to play their part in this crisis and take a pay cut. Now, the controversy concerns lawmakers calling to tax various football clubs because what they're doing is the players are not taking a tax. The players are continuing to receive full salaries whilst the clubs, or some of them, are furloughing the non-playing staff so that the governments are picking up the pay bill. In contrast, Atletico Madrid players and coaches today are taking a 75% cut to cover non-paying staff. And the Premier League says, to give you an idea, players making $75,000 a week on average. $75,000 a week on average, amongst the world's highest paid athletes. Gary Lineker is the former England striker and the host, of course, of the BBC's Match of the Day. Gary, good to have you with us. Thank you, sir, for taking time. In short, the Premier League has found itself on the wrong side of this controversy, haven't they? The players should be taking a cut so that the ground staff don't get laid off.
It's if we're only that simple. Obviously, I think players will take a cut. We're generally on the whole coronavirus thing a couple of weeks behind Italy and Spain, both of which have announced recently that players are going to take cuts. Barcelona's 70% cuts. Juventus are not getting paid, the players there. Atletico Madrid, you just mentioned, that's come out today. We're a little bit behind, but I'm pretty confident that there'll be something announced with teams and players in the not too distant future. We do tend to have a go at footballers quite easily. They're easy game. Yes, they get paid a lot of money, but I'm sure they want to help. They're consistently very good in the communities. And I'm sure over the coming days that footballers will stand up and to be counted, either taking pay cuts or making donations to charities or staff workers that are non-playing. So I'm confident that will happen. But it takes time, and everyone here is jumping on the bandwagon. Politicians do tend to do that occasionally, especially at footballers' expense. So if I'm wrong, then I'll be as critical as anybody else.
I was about to say, that's really the point, Gary, isn't it? I mean, these things take time, and providing the momentum's in the right direction. But as you just said, if this doesn't happen, then you will believe that that's wrong and they should, correct?
If it doesn't happen, yes, absolutely. But as I say, I'm fairly confident it will. I'll be very disappointed if it doesn't. I think one or two of our clubs have kind of thrown their players under a PR bus in many ways by announcing that they're cutting staff salaries and putting them on furlough for payments but not affecting the players' wages. Now, obviously, the players' salaries, that was not announced by the players, but it was announced by the clubs. So let's wait and see. Let's be a little bit patient here. Let's not all jump on the judgmental high horse and just wait and see how it pans out over the next week or so. And I'm confident, and I'll be very disappointed if the players don't do the right thing, which I'm sure they will.
I realise in the grand scheme of things, the cancellation of a season is sort of relatively minor, except for the fact so many tens, if not hundreds of millions of people get such enjoyment from it and will be looking forward intently to not only the Premier League but all the other leagues in Europe coming back on stream again when the time is right. Will this have had... What do you see as being any medium to long-term effect on the game of what's happened when it returns?
Well, as you say, it's about perspective first and foremost, and football is not the most important thing in the world at the moment, but to a lot of people in the world, it is a very important thing. None of us really know at present when football will start again in various parts of the world, whether it will be this summer, whether it will be late summer, who knows? We don't know. Obviously, economically, it's having a hugely devastating effect on football. Billions of pounds will be cost because football can't exist without football, obviously. We don't know at present. I imagine the giant clubs, the huge clubs in the world, will survive this. I think a lot of clubs in the lower tiers of all sorts of different countries over the world will have enormous economical problems after this, as will business in all sorts of ways and all sorts of sports as well. How devastating? It's impossible to guess. When will football start again? It's impossible to guess. There are more important things going on: health, safety, lives of millions of people. So, but at the same time, it's okay to wonder when football will come back. It's okay to miss football because it's an important part of our lives. Perspective, obviously, but we are allowed to miss it. I miss it. It's part of my life, a major part of my life. Always has been, both as a player and now as a broadcaster. And I genuinely miss it. But there are, of course, more important things with this dreadful crisis that's going on at the moment.
Trump. Gary, I hope and trust that you and your family are keeping well, sir. And thank you for taking the time to join us this evening.